guys, I was going through your textbook, right? And I make a little short notes here. I'm gonna try to scan these so y'all can have them. Hopefully the pencil will come out if y'all want to print it, right? But this is basically like little summaries I had made up of your textbook, right? So and everything here reference from something in your textbook if you want to find something in a little more detail, right? But I just want to have this as a companion piece to the algebra stuff I'm gonna put up with the take home, so that at the end of this weekend you all should hopefully have a real holistic view of the work covered during the term, and we could be ready to mash up that final exam, right? So I want first to start off this little playlist here by saying none of you all should be intimidated. This is, sometimes things might look confusing, but don't be discouraged. Just try your best. Sometimes it just helps with algebra, especially, to put like things together and to just not be intimidated by something looking really complicated, you know. Just take it easy, take a deep breath, and just observe what you have and go from there, right? Don't be scared if it's looking really complicated. So with that being said, let me go through this little summary I have here now. Alright, so two things to remember jumping off the bat. An equation has an equal sign and it can be solved, right? So this is basically I wanted you all to know the difference between an equation and an expression. So an equation will have an equal sign and it can be solved. So for example, like where you have 8 plus 7 is x plus 7 is equal to 8. Excuse me, guys. Where was that? Right, yeah. X is equal to 8 minus 7 is equal to 1, right? An expression is not equal to like something, like a number, like how here is, and you could solve for the unknown. An expression is just like terms, right? So, like where you would have 5a plus 2b plus 2a plus 6, was that a 6, boy? 6b? Yeah. So you're simplifying it down and you group the like terms together. So you'll have 5a plus 2a plus 2b plus 6b, right? So we group in like terms. Just remember, everybody wants to be with the friends. The A wants to align with the A, the B wants to align with the B, so we put them together, right? So the next thing that I want to go through with you guys is the different ways that an algebra problem can look, right? So we could have algebra with two operations. So the aim is to get the letter term on its own, right? So like where you have like something like this now, 7 is equal to 3x minus 5, right? So first, you need to put all the whole numbers on one side. Remember, the whole numbers want to be friends with the whole numbers, right? So to do that, if we have minus 5 here, if we add 5 here, we'll cancel, right? So 7 plus 5 is equal to 3x minus 5 plus 5. That's this. And then you'll get x is equal to 3x, and then you could solve there easily when you divide it by 3 throughout, right? So you'll get x is equal to 4. The second way that algebra can appear is if you have letters on both sides. So you see here we had letters on one side, right? Sometimes it could appear on both, right? So the aim when you're doing it like this is to have all the letters on one side and all the numbers on the other side. Remember, all the letters want to align with their crew and all the numbers want to align with their crew too, right? So like if we have this one here, 5x plus 2 is equal to 2x plus 7, right? So we sort down the letters first. So you see like how this one is 5x and this one was 2x? You come over to his side, right? So we want to get rid of the 2x on this side. So we have to subtract by 2x, right? So your next line will become 5x minus 2x plus 2 is equal to 2x minus 2x plus 9, right? So then this 2x minus 2x here will cancel. And then you will get 5x minus 2x is 3x. So what you will have the next line being from here to here is 3x plus 2 is equal to 9. So now we handle the numbers because poor 2 by himself. Yeah, my phone cut off. Alright, let me try to finish it off when my battery die. Alright, so we are at, where we was at, we was at Mr. 9 being by himself because his friend plus 2 on this side, right? So what we're doing is we're subtracting 2 on either side because we want to get rid of the 2 here, right? So then the equation will become 3x plus 2 minus 2 is equal to 9 minus 2. And then we get 3x is equal to 7. We divide by 3 throughout to get the value of x. And therefore we get x is equal to 7 on 3. So the next one that we're gonna do is algebra. Hold on, let me see if I can do this out for my battery, guys, and I have to put it in charge. Okay, it don't look like we'll be able to finish everything. So I'm just gonna do this little piece, and then I will add in the rest. Okay, so we have algebra with brackets, right? Brackets is not a thing to be intimidated by, right? Do not be intimidated by it. So like where we have an example of 4 by open brackets x plus 3 means 4, like I put here in words, means 4 times everything in the brackets, right? So this will break down to 4 by x plus 4 by positive 3, right? So 4 by x and 4 by 3, so 4x plus 12. And it could look like, these are different ways that we could make it look like this, right? And then after I do this, I'm gonna add in another part. Yeah, I will. I just thinking in my mind out loud how to upload this so it won't be confusing to you guys. Alright, so we have, it could look like this, right? We could have 2 plus 2 by 3x plus 7. So if you have it looking like this, right? What that means is, when you're breaking it down, just follow it, right? The 2 plus 2 by 3x plus 2 by 7. So you'll have 2 plus 6x plus 14. And that will simplify into 6x plus 2 and 14, making 16, right? These, if you have just brackets, right? It could also look like let me say, looking a little more complicated. And that this here is the expression. But now we put another number and an equal sign and a number. So that means we have to solve, right? So now we have 4 plus 2, open bracket, x plus 1 equal to 22, right? So now we have 4 plus 2 by the x plus 2 by 2 equals to 22. So that breaking down into this line here, because we multiply, the first step here, multiply the bracket. So 4 plus 2 by x plus 2 by 1 equals to, it's supposed to be 22, right? So we're simplifying, right? Remember, everybody want to be with their friends, right? So we gotta put all the x's on one side and all the whole numbers on the other side, right? So we have 4 plus 2x plus 2 is equal to 22. So this will simplify. 4 plus 2 will give you 6 plus 2x is equal to 22, right? So we need to isolate the x, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to subtract the 6 from here to get rid of it, right? So that's going to become 6 minus 6 plus 2x is equal to 22 minus 6. So then that will simplify now. This 6 and 6 here will cancel. 2x is equal to 22 minus 6 is 18. So if you have 2x is equal to 18, then 2x divided by 2 is equal to 18 divided by 2, which ta-da, means x is equal to 9. So we have, this is probably going to be part from a battery die, but alright, so for the final part of this algebra recap, we're going to talk about indices and multiplication and division, right? So for the first part where we have indices, right? So like if we're thinking of like example, a simple one like x squared, right? X squared is x multiplied by x, right? So a regular number is considered that number to the power of 1, right? Any number to the power of 1 is that number. So where we have x to the power 1, x to the power 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. That's how we have x squared. Just similarly now, if we had like y squared plus y cubed plus y squared multiplied by y cubed multiplied by y cubed again, it would be y to the power of 2 plus 3 plus 1 plus 3. And basically that's what you all just need to have appreciation of for indices, right? But just as a little extra, just as multiplication is of like with powers like this, right? It's like adding up the powers. If it was to do like let me just say x cubed divided by x, that would be like 3 because it's division and everything is x to a power of something. It would be x to the power of 3 minus 1, so x squared. But that's just something extra. What you all have to be sure to know is like when you have things like x by x. This is like just to have an idea of how to manipulate the indices, right? So you had one question like that here. That was this one, right? So the next thing we're going to talk about is don't be intimidated by this very long, hard sounding title. It's not hard. Don't be intimidated by it, right? We're going to talk about multiplication first, right? Which is something you'll all be familiar with. So with this one is multiply the numerator together and then multiply the denominator together, right? It's like, let me say we have this thing here, right? This is like 24 on 5 multiplied by 10 on 9. If you want to multiply this out, right, what they're saying is you multiply out the numerator and then you multiply out the denominator, and then from there you can simplify, right? So like in this case we have no x's or y's, it's just flat numbers, right? So you see here like how everything will cancel out eventually to 16 on 3. And then division. Now division, in multiplication, right, you could multiply 24 by 10 and get 240 and divide that by 45. Hold on. Sorry guys, my mom was by the door. Alright, so like in multiplication, right, you could do 24 multiplied by 10 and get 240 and then divide that by 5 by 9, which is 45, and it would still simplify out to give it this eventually, right? With division, you need to be very specific with this, right? Division is so you divide in a fraction, right? So it's like if you have 4/5 divided by 8 on 5, you need to flip this one, right? So it'll be, and multiply it instead. That's just the rule for dividing fractions, right? So 4/5 divided by 8 on 15 will become 4 on 5 multiplied by 15 on 8, and then you simplify here as usual, right? So again, that's indices. We're adding up the powers like this. And then with multiplication and division, with division most specifically, I want you all to pay attention to this. That the last fraction here, you flip it and then you're multiplying the first one by that instead, right? There was an example of that here, that's this one. But this one was straight up multiply, right? So that would be covered in the further along in the playlist with that answer, right? So the last thing I want to do is this, not in the text, but I kind of want to have, and I'm gonna go it over again with you guys in class because I kind of want to have just something to discuss with you guys about negative numbers, right? I've noticed that like in the midterm, it had varying results of how the understanding of negative numbers is. And we had a couple of methods. We talk about number line and stuff, but I just want to go it over a little bit again. Maybe, sometimes just having a resource, like something that you have at home that you could replay a couple times. I was watching on the Edmodo and I saw like they have the feature where some of y'all see like your learning styles, and for me, just as a student growing up, like sometimes practicing things is what helped me, like just kind of doing problems. And that was one of the reasons why I specifically chose the questions for this little weekend of math that you guys have, because I picked them specifically because I wanted you all to experience solving problems designed in a certain way. And I think like once you could solve problems where the way it just the harder ones, where you could frame your mind to at least be accustomed to how that solution will take place, then to form it for future as the problems not beyond form 1 I'm talking about now, as the problems become more complex, is like you have this like internal framework in your mind already, right? So we're gonna talk about negative numbers for a little bit, right? So you would have heard us talking in class a lot about the number line, right? So the first thing is we can think of it in a few ways. So the first way is like the number line. So this is a little piece here that's straight out of your midterm, right? With 3c minus 4c. So like we could think of a number line where we have 3 and we go in 4 ways and we reach number 1, well, minus 1. So that's one way to get to negative 3c, right? The second way we could think of it is like owning money. So it's like, if you have something is positive or something that you have, if it's something negative, that means something that you owe. So I have 3, I owe 4, therefore I owe 1 more again. So, and because it's the owing of a money is negative, right? That's one way I was thinking about it. And then I don't know if y'all might be able to resonate with this, but just try it out and see now. Well, so like if we have in this case 3 minus 4, and this one I feel like is kind of just a way to learn off, but just see whichever one of these ways must be able to make it easier for you, or might just make it a little bit easier to kind of visualize. Whichever one speaks most to you, go towards that one, right? But like they just offer different perspectives. Maybe one, sometimes like you really just need to see something in your own specific way. So like it don't necessarily have to be one way to do everything in math, right? So like let me say we're thinking of it like in terms of like switching, right? So you have like let me say same example we're using for the others, 3 minus 4, right? All right, so we add switching, right? So we have 3 minus 4, and then okay, so like we could see here that 4 is the bigger number. Like if we're just looking at like numbers, right? 4 is a bigger number than 3, right? But we could see that if you have 3 and you owe 4, clearly some kind of negative thing playing off here, right? So like we could say 4 is the bigger number, right? And it is the bigger number with the minus sign too, right? So just maybe if it's possible for some of you guys, think of it as like the bigger number numerically minus the smaller number. But because the bigger number have the minus sign in front of it, we're going to go 4 minus 3, and whatever the answer is, we put a negative in front of it. Similarly, like let me say it was like 5 minus 7. 7 is a bigger number. It has a minus sign in front of it. So we go 7 minus 2 is 5. And wait, 5 minus 7, right? So 7 minus 5 is 2. And then you'll have a negative. You put a negative 2 in front of it. Just like an idea to consider, perhaps. Like, all right, so let me see here. We have 5 minus 10. So 10 is a bigger number with the negative sign. So we could say like 10 minus 5 is 5. Because the bigger number had the minus sign, the answer will be minus 5. Just as a, I don't know, maybe as that could be a way that could be useful to you guys. So just to recap, we did the negative numbers. We did the multiplication, the division. Pay very super special attention to the division. We did the indices. We did ways to do algebra with brackets, where we just have like an expression. Then we did where we just had like an equation where it equal to something. We did algebra with, you'll be familiar with the one operation. That's like if you have x plus 3 is 5. You all had that for the midterm and everybody smashed it. So that is basically like now we could have with two operations or with expressions on either side, and then you have to kind of simplify everything and put it together. So all this is the different things that could comprise algebra. Basically, this is like what I will tell you all a lot in math is like things that you already know. Like you all know the basics. You all know addition, multiplication, subtraction, and division. All math will have that. And it's just kind of like, think of it like chess. It's like the different ways that we learn now to use the skills that we already have. Because algebra will have addition, it will have subtraction, it will have division, it will have multiplication. All the tools that you guys need to know, you all already have it. We're just learning to use the tools that we have in a different way, right? So I'm going to close off this one, and in the next set of videos you guys will see, we'll be going more into depth in the take-home assignment that we had, right? I want you guys to try it first and then use it as a check over. And should anything not make clear, make it clear in your mind, we go over it again in class so everybody gets it right, okay? I really want you guys to give this your best shot and to practice as much as you can. This questions here specifically were made to kind of give you all the widest range possible to be exposed to. So I really want everybody to try your best, okay? Don't be scared to be intimidated. You just do your best. And once you do your best, you cannot feel any regrets because you try your best and you give it your best shot, right? Alright, so we're gonna, next set of videos now gonna be the answers to the homework, right? But really and truly, watch this video again if you want, and then watch the questions, internalize it, and then give it a go, right? Okay, bye.